All right, so if you're even thinking about learning to code right now, you're probably hearing two completely different things, right? On one hand, people are saying it's still the golden ticket to an amazing career. But on the other hand, you hear all this chatter about AI making coders totally obsolete. So today, let's just cut through all that noise. We're going to figure out what's really going on. What are the new rules for actually making it as a developer in 2026?
And this is probably the number one question on your mind. You see the headlines, you hear the buzz, and you have to ask yourself, is it too late? Is putting in all this effort to learn to code still a smart bet for my future?
And, right on the heels of that question comes the one that causes a lot of anxiety. I mean, with AI tools that can literally write code in seconds, is the human developer about to become a thing of the past? Let's get a real, honest answer to that right now.
Okay, so here's the most important thing to understand. Coding is absolutely not dead, not even close. But the job itself has fundamentally changed. Companies aren't just looking for people who can memorize syntax anymore. No, they want something much, much more valuable. And this slide just perfectly sums up the massive shift that's happened. See, the old way, you were basically a code writer. You got a ticket, a task, and your job was just to pump out the code to make it work. But the new way, totally different. Now you're a problem solver. You get a business problem, and it's your job to use everything in your arsenal, your coding skills and AI, to design and build the solution.
This really gets to the core of why human developers are still so essential. Look, an AI can spit out lines of code for sure, but it has no idea why it's writing that code. It can't understand the deep business logic behind a feature. It can't come up with a truly creative or innovative solution. And maybe most importantly, you can't hold an AI responsible when things go wrong. That accountability, that ownership, that's always going to be human.
So, let's flip the script for a second. If you really want to get hired in 2026, you've got to stop thinking like a student and start thinking like a hiring manager. What are they actually looking for when a resume hits their desk?
Think of this as your personal checklist for getting hired. Yeah, of course they want strong fundamentals. That's the foundation for everything. And they want to see some basic data structures and algorithms, or DSA, to know that you can think analytically. But look really closely at the bottom half of this list. Project experience, a GitHub portfolio, knowing your way around APIs. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is what proves you can actually build stuff.
And let me be super clear about this. A bunch of certificates from online courses, they're nice, but they don't mean nearly as much as a solid GitHub profile packed with real working projects. Companies don't want to know which tutorials you've watched. They want to see what you can do. Your portfolio is your proof of work.
So, if AI isn't here to take your job, then what is it for? It's time to completely reframe how you see these tools. They're not your competition. They're your new teammates, incredibly powerful teammates that are here to make you better, faster, and stronger. Just let that one sink in for a second. This is the new reality, plain and simple. The real threat isn't AI. The threat is choosing to ignore it, because the developers who master these AI tools are going to be so much more productive that they'll set a whole new standard. And here's where you can start. You've got tools like GitHub Copilot or Codium that are like having a programming partner right inside your code editor. You've got Find, which is basically a search engine built just for developers. You don't have to be an expert on all of them, but you absolutely have to start using them.
Okay, we've talked about the what and the why. Now let's get to the most important part, the how. What's the actual step-by-step game plan for you to succeed in this new world of coding? Just watching tutorials is not going to cut it. You need a gym for your brain, right? Well, that's exactly what platforms like LeetCode and HackerRank are. And they're not just about solving random puzzles. They're designed to build the exact problem-solving muscles that companies will test you on in job interviews.
And look, don't get intimidated by those websites. We're not talking about you needing to spend 8 hours a day grinding away. The goal is to build a habit you can actually stick with. Committing to solving just 2 problems a day, just 2, might not feel like a big deal, but that compounding effect, over a few months, that's literally the difference between an amateur and a pro.
Which brings us to the real secret weapon that almost nobody talks about. Everyone's out there looking for a hack, a shortcut, some magic tutorial. The real secret? It's boring consistency. It's just showing up, doing the work, practicing every day, building things piece by piece, and pushing through errors even when it's not fun or exciting.
You know, the path to becoming a developer is full of traps, and knowing what they are is half the battle. So please, avoid getting stuck in what I call tutorial hell, where you just watch videos but never build anything. When you hit an error, don't quit. That's where the real learning happens.
And maybe the biggest one of all, stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Just focus on your own journey.
So let's wrap all this up. Let's put it all together into one clear, simple playbook. If you are serious about making this happen in 2026, this is your roadmap.
Here it is, your 4-step plan. Number 1, learn the fundamentals and learn them deeply. They never go out of style. Number 2, build stuff, real projects. Make your portfolio undeniable. Number 3, use AI tools. Make them your superpower to work smarter and faster. And number 4, practice every single day. Embrace that boring consistency. That's it. That's the formula. So at the end of the day, coding isn't dying. It's evolving. It's actually becoming more creative and more about solving big picture problems than ever before. The tools are getting way better, but the need for smart, adaptable people to use those tools is only growing. So the only question left is, are you ready to evolve?